Hello and welcome to this Zodiac exclusive. My name is Alex Banda. In this edition of Zodiac exclusive, I'm sitting down with Hyoung-Joon Lim. He is the WFP country representative to Malawi. Welcome. Did I pronounce your name well?
Yeah, almost close.
Welcome to Zodiac exclusive.
Thank you.
Almost
Thank you
close.
thank you for your kind invitation.
Yeah.
My name is Hyoung-Joon Lim.
Hyoung-Joon Lim.
Yes.
Okay. In short, we would say HJ Lim.
Yes. Everybody call me HJ Lim.
HJ Lim.
My name is so difficult, so
But I was close.
yeah, it was close.
You've been in Malawi for about a year and some months now.
That's right.
Tell us, how has your mission to Malawi with WFP been like?
I have a very interesting story. 1994, I was a backpacker in early my 20s. And I was traveling around the world. And I came to Malawi. And I was on the boat.
Okay.
And for three nights, 4 days, I was on the Malawi lake.
Oh.
And that time, I was a poor student. I had no money.
Oh.
I thought I could change money on the boat. I couldn't change. So all I had was one sugar cane. I was chewing sugar cane for 3 days.
Wow.
That time, I felt first time the pain of hunger. It was really painful, you know. And then one man on the boat, a Malawian crew, he offered his food. He saw one Asian guy, very skinny that time, was chewing sugar cane for 3 days.
Wow.
And he gave his food. That time I understood, you know, small help. Maybe the value of the food in 94 was merely 50 cents. But the gratitude I felt is more than $1 million. Because I was hungry and I was given the food. I was so happy, so grateful. Then I got off from the boat and I passed one village, very poor. And I saw long queue, people waiting for something, but very big smile on their face, very happy, very excited. I was wondering why these poor people are so happy and so excited. And then I followed the queue and I saw what WFP food distribution that time.
In 1994?
94. So in early 20s, I didn't know what to do in my life. I had two big questions. What kind of person I want to be? What kind of career I want to have? Seeing that moment, I decided, okay, that's something I want to do for the rest of my life. Helping, there are a lot of jobs in the world, but helping hungry people, is there any more rewarding job than this kind of job, you know? So that's how I decided to come to WFP, United Nations, because of Malawi, in my experience in Malawi. And after 30 years, look, I came back to Malawi. So Malawi was my inspiration.
So you were passionate about Malawi, I must think.
Yeah, the inspiration came from Malawi because of what I had experienced on the boat, and then the offer from a man, Malawian, and then the scene that I saw, you know, at the humanitarian distribution site. So that shaped my life, very beginning of my career.
Now, it's interesting you've said that 32 years on, we still are facing hunger in Malawi.
Yes.
As we are speaking today, or when you are coming here to run this mission,
Right.
About 4.6 million people were facing hunger. Today, we are being told, according to the MVAC report, about 2.5 million,
2.6 million.
2.6 crores are going to face hunger this lean season. Where are we getting it wrong? Should we say that we are not addressing the problem? We are just looking at it on the surface?
I think there are many different issues.
I would like to hear what we are getting wrong.
First of all, it's climate change.
Climate change.
Malawi, since 2020, hit by very hard climate, you know, related natural disaster. Hurricane Freddy, El Nino, many cases year after year, right? The big drought, big cyclone, big flood, that really affect food security. And also there are many other challenges, you know, productivity issue, and you know, so that's all combined. However, also I want to share a story. I'm from South Korea.
Yes.
And a country used to be the poorest country in the world.
Yes.
After Korean War in 1953, we received food aid from United States. 70% of that food aid was monetized and utilized as a national budget. And you know, 1961 GDP per capita, Zimbabwe, Philippines, Peru, 3 times richer than South Korea. DR Congo was twice richer than South Korea. And General MacArthur, after the end of Korean War, he said, this country is hopeless. It will take at least 100 years to rebuild. So we were hopeless people.
1953.
1953. And 1960s, we were still very poor. So when I was a kid, all I hear was the pain of hunger. My parents always talked about it. When I could leave a grain of rice, my parents were very upset. They told me, in order to have this grain of rice, the farmer has to touch 80 times to make this grain of rice. So I heard about it, and I was born and seeing a country. Look, my parents born during the colonial time. Then they saw the big war. Everything was destroyed. Then they saw underdeveloped country, developing country, now developed country. Everything happened in one life. So I have a strong belief ending hunger is possible. Because look at your national anthem. You say put down enemy. And the first thing is hunger. So it's a big vision for Malawian to end hunger. Your government top priority is ending hunger, make Malawi hunger free. And WFP mission is zero hunger. So, this is something, and I came from a country where I saw ending hunger is possible very quickly. So why not Malawi? If Koreans can, if Chinese can, if other people can, why not Malawians? So that's a strong belief I have, and WFP, our mission, we are really trying to, do it. And one of our approaches is zero hunger village. We have many villages, and sometimes there is a dependency syndrome. People, I ask beneficiary, how long do you need our support? People say 20 years, 15 years.
Yes.
But then it cannot change everything, right? So it's very important to have a clear vision, determination to end hunger. In my household, in my community, So it's starting from there. And then, we have 7 principles in Zero Hunger Village. Number 1, vision and determination. Number 2, autonomy. They have to decide what they want. If they are imposed by UN, by NGO, maybe, do you have any food you don't eat? Any food you don't like?
There is. I wouldn't want to mention that, but there are foods that I don't like.
Yeah. So when you are hungry, somebody offers you only that food. Maybe you are not happy, right? Even though you are hungry. So that's why.
But we have a saying in Ijijewa, osauga sasanka, meaning if you're poor, you don't get a chance to choose what you have to eat or what you have to be given.
But when they are offered something they like, they are very happy, right?
Yes.
So that's another principle. And another principle is leadership, local leadership. I saw many cases, we provide the same level of support. Some villages flourish, another villages don't. Why? It's really about leadership and their commitment to work together. And then also performance-based support. Giving same support in the beginning, but those who perform better, we give them more support. And success is contagious. One village is successful, neighboring village also want to follow suit. And also their contribution, because the ownership is so important. So if UN is giving just food, they will be rely on and dependent. But if they contribute their own things, their own time, their own resources, their own labor, it becomes theirs. So we build ownership. So when we phase out, they can continue. And then they can have this success, right? Zero hunger villages, average productivity increased by 4.7 times. Because it's simple. Number 1, anticipatory action. We advise the best timing for plantation, working together with the weather forecast. So they know the timing, and we provide seed and fertilizer on time. Because the delay will really, reduce the productivity.
Okay. Now, I asked you that question deliberately, Mr. Lim, because I'm looking at this being a vicious circle in Malawi. You were here in 1994 as a young student, and you've seen how the country has progressed or retrogressed over the years. It's a matter of debate. But what do we need to do Do we need to change the way we think? Do we need to enhance or change our curricula? Or is it the leadership itself on how people must treat hunger or how the government must respond to these calamities that we're facing year in and year out?
Yeah, it has, in different level of intervention, right? Government, policy level, determination, resource allocation, but also in the middle level and then village level. Village level, that's what I told you. So the beneficiary, 1 acre or half acre, they used to harvest 3 bags, 4 bags. But thanks to that intervention, now they're harvesting 15, 20, 25 bags. And now they have enough food for the first time. Some family told me they have enough food for 1 year. They even have a surplus. That gives them confidence. And they have this mindset that I can do it, we can do it, can do spirit. And then, those people who have so much harvest, they told us that, okay, with the surplus, we will invest in seed and fertilizer, we'll buy chicken and goats, and then we will diversify our income. So from that experience, they know, and they no longer want to rely on and dependent for the rest of their life. Beneficiaries themselves sometimes sick and tired of getting handout every year, but if they can stand on their own feet, they have enough production, they can have their own life, why they need So giving emergency assistance is very important. The most vulnerable people really need it. But also at some part, we call humanitarian development nexus. So transitioning some portion of population to the resilience so that they can stand on their own feet.
Now, I was asking you deliberately because I wanted to get a sense that with your work here over the years, you have zero hunger, which is one of your SDG pillars, and of course, climate change and resilience, of course.
Right.
How are you bringing all these areas together to ensure that local communities that have been dependent, and some you have later said that they are developing a dependency syndrome, and it then transitions to entitlement. How are you transitioning them and imparting these SDGs to communities?
Yeah, so that's why the climate change and food security is very closely
They are going
related.
together.
Very closely related. When there is a drought, when there is a flood, they lose everything, right? So it's so important to have a certain infrastructure, irrigation, water dike, so that certain infrastructure level, and then the way they respond, the resilience, their knowledge, because in zero hunger villages we change a few of our approaches, like spacing. Some people don't know even about spacing, but certain spacing gives more production, and then weeding, and then timely plantation, and those things actually change a lot in terms of productivity and their food security. So and government and the donors, a lot of entities are working toward that direction.
But with the low education levels in Malawi, is this becoming a challenge now?
It is. That's why we have a school feeding program, because when a child is only once a day, and then school provides another meal, that's a very strong incentive for the child to go to school, because they get another meal. Then, with that meal, they stay, they focus, they perform. So there is a huge difference between non-school feeding and school feeding school, because the school feeding school enrollment and attendance rate is really different. Pass rate is very different. So WFP has very key activities, not only resilience, zero hunger program, but school feeding. And it's a homegrown school feeding. So it's not only feeding children, but we work with the farmers in the region. So they grow food, they sell to school, and school buy it. So they generate income for farmers and benefit education, nutrition for the children. So it's very, very important. And government have vision, universal school feeding by 2030. We really hope that vision realized.
You're watching Zodiac Exclusive, and you're with me, Alex Banda. And joining me in this edition of Zodiac Exclusive is Mr. HJ Lim. We'll take a short break, and we'll see you right after. So, Doctor, we have discussed the cycle of poverty in Malawi and the hunger that continues to strike. Education is also a barrier to that effect. I wanted to get a view. The MVAC says 2.6 million people are going to be affected by hunger this Lent season. What is the WFP's response to the MVAC report?
Yeah, so we have a plan. We are working very closely with the Dodoma, and what people need is food. So procuring, pre-positioning food, because during rainy season, the road becomes inaccessible. So that preparation is very, very important. So we are working closely. We advocate and we appeal to the donors because timing is also very, very important. If we buy now, it's much, much cheaper. But if we buy in October, November, then food price is much higher. So we could help much less people. So this is, and then also that you heard about El Nino, right? El Nino, the probability to strong or very strong case is 80% or more. And it will affect acute hunger, over 5 million people. Some numbers say 6.5 million people, in addition to 2.6 million. So that will be huge. El Nino normally comes with a drought and then later flash flood. So this is early action, anticipatory action is very, very important. That's why our job is to support government and fill the implementation gap and working together. So that's all we do. And also as a United Nations, we are working with a different agency, the FAO and IFAD, they are Rome-based agency for food security. Then also UNDP, UNICEF, there are many agencies. So the UN is working as a team to complement each other, to create synergy, and to support the most vulnerable population.
Now, it seems to me that with all these statistics numbers and anticipation at your disposal, you must have set aside some resources or funds for this exercise, the preposition and coordination with DODMA. Are you at liberty to disclose how much?
Actually, WFP is a 100% voluntarily funded agency. So we don't have allocated budget. We have to raise money. So that's why we are working towards that direction. For Malawi, for El Nino, unfortunately, WFP and government raised only 8% of the needs. 8%. 8%. Yeah, $411 million is needed. And so far, $32 million is raised. So 8%. So there are still big gap. And WFP and FAO globally made a strong appeal to the donor community to support, because El Nino is not only for Malawi, it's regional and global. So jointly we appeal.
So you said Malawi needs how much? Malawi alone for the response of El Nino?
El Nino is $411 million.
$11
million.
$11 million.
And the lean season response, 2.6 million, we need $72 million. So WFP, for the moment, our plan is focused on 600,000 most vulnerable people.
600,000?
600,000, the most vulnerable.
Okay.
So
that's according to the MVAC or your own data?
MVAC is a 2.6 million normal lean season.
Yes.
Plus El Nino is also coming. So that's why there is a two combined number.
Now you are only going to be focusing on those that are ultra poor and more vulnerable.
Most vulnerable. We have a targeting system. So as we have limited resources, we have to focus the most vulnerable people, most vulnerable region. And normally in the south, it's more vulnerable, right? So that's just, so our team is working very, very hard to prepare. This is a time to prepare. And our procurement team, procurement is so important to select suppliers and the transporters to be ready. So when the time comes, we immediately take action.
You have said that you are resource constrained. At this time, I'm looking at you not only focusing on El Nino and MVAC, you're also in school feeding program, like you said. How many are you targeting or are you assisting now?
School feeding, we used to target about 1 million people. But the big funding source is ended already in July this year. So now 500,000 children actually have no longer access to school feeding. So we are now, from next school season, we are only supporting 500,000, 500 schools. So this is also our very big worry. Because
I heard that. I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth to say, how will this be sustained now? You have said it yourself that we have to keep the children in school. You are working hard to raise resources for school feeding program. And yet you are just telling me now over 500,000 students or pupils in primary schools who are relying on school feeding program will no longer have access.
And yeah, so we need a donor support. We need a government commitment. Government has already vision, so the commitment is very, very important, working together with the different donors. In the north, I saw a very good example. The schools secured school garden. Some school, one school I visited had a 5 acres of land. They are planting maize and the necessary, all the vegetable. And the school need 160 bags per year. They are producing 220 bags. They have a surplus. So actually they have sustainability. They can continue, So that's something we were designed with the EU and several schools in the north, because they have land, they know how to do it. They are going direction for the sustainability. But many, many other schools don't have the sustainability. So that capacity building, the resource is still very much needed.
Are you regretting what you have seen in the north with other schools elsewhere?
In south, unfortunately, as you are well aware, the land is limited. So improving productivity is also a very important key. So the southern part, we need more support and assistance and investment for the moment.
You are also investing in food at Zodiak refugee camp. We understand you're also downsizing your services there. What are we looking at in terms of the numbers, and what kind of effect will that bring?
There are 63,000 people in Zodiak refugee camp, and the number is increasing every month.
Yes.
400 newcomers and 150 new births every month. So about 500 people are increasing every month in Zodiak camp. And so far, the entire population banking on WFP food assistance. And our resources are limited. We couldn't give 100% their food ration. Sometimes we give 60%, sometimes we give 50%. But now, unfortunately, we cannot continue 100% assistance to the refugee camp. So now we are considering the targeted approach, but we don't. So we are working on it. We are discussing, and also we appeal to the parliament, because the World Bank may provide extra assistance if Refugee Act is passed. So I spoke with the Speaker of the Parliament to help to pass the law, the Refugee Act. So this is different efforts we are really working on towards that direction.
Maybe what is your idea by speaking to the Speaker of Parliament? What do you want to achieve?
To pass the Refugee Act. Yes, that's been pending for some time. So I think, and then if that act is passed,
yes,
IFI, like World Bank, is willing to provide extra resources so that this will be very, very valuable and useful.
But passing a law might be a bit tricky and a long process in the short term. This is not the first time when the BFP has faced funding constraints and you are unable to assist refugees or school feeding programs. What other strategies have you in place or up your sleeve to ensure that the situation does not become dire?
Then targeting. So with our limited resources, we have to focus the most vulnerable population. If we cannot cover everybody, right? So, for instance, in the refugee camp, there are family with the children or elderly or sick people. So, certain criteria we are now working on it, and we are inviting our mission from our regional bureau to like Kenya has a very good, experience. Our WFP country office in Kenya. So we are learning from that experience how to approach this situation.
Now, we have a model here to target farmers that are poor but have land through the Farm Input Subsidy Program, the FISIP. Over the years, we have seen that the figures have been fluctuating, either rising or reducing. Now, the government says it is implementing a reformed Farm Input Subsidy Program. I would like to get an impression from you. How do you look at its sustainability? Do we need to phase that out? Should the government invest those resources to other areas that could improve this hunger situation in the country?
WFP is a very neutral, agency, so we cannot comment on the government policy.
Could you provide technical support to government?
We are willing. We are always willing to provide the technical support. Like we've been providing service provision, the logistics. So lean season response for the past 3 years, we've been delivering on behalf of the government maize to the last mile. So that has been, and also we were supporting the fertilizer distribution. So WFP is ready for supporting government whenever they need.
Now, you have said, and we agree, that 2.6 million people face hunger. You are suggesting that 5 million or 6.5 million people would fall into that trap
if El Nino happens.
If El Nino hits strongly. How many people should we expect really to be affected, and what kind of appeal are you putting out there to donors?
We are working very actively. I have a meeting with the UN country team, the country representative of each agency. We meet together and we discuss the El Nino preparedness and strategy. And we are also jointly appealing to the donor community, because we all know that it is coming, and we all know anticipatory action in time is really, really important.
Is this going to be a public statement from the joint UN team and of course the other donors, or what's the strategy, what's the plan?
We've been individually, appealing to donors, but also at global level, our HQ level, there has been a lot of, appeal and advocacy. So we'll see.
Talking to you, Dr. Lim, I'm getting an impression that you are a planner, and a very, very critical planner, I must say. You would want to see things happen in strategically. Looking at this looming crisis of El Nino, looking at the trickling in of donor funding currently, and your purse right now, the current funds that you have, do you think you'll be able to respond to this looming crisis that Malawi is going to face in time?
We will do our best with the resources we have. So we have some resources and a few resources coming. So with that resources, we'll do our best, the most vulnerable. And we really hope that more resources are coming in and in time, because a stitch in time saves a nine.
A stitch in time
saves a nine.
You're watching Zodiac exclusive on Zodiac. Dr. Lim, as we are drawing to the end of our discussion, I want to get and hear from you. The country is also investing in the National Food Reserve Agency, NFRA, restocking its strategic grain reserves. In the 2026-2027 national budget, about 100 billion was allocated to purchase about 108,000 metric tons of maize. Do you think that the process is going on well with the maize that you also want to bring into the very same facilities so that you can distribute? I know you have your own facilities, but what is your impression on how or the pace the government is conducting this exercise?
We are working very closely with NFRA, and we've been supporting them in terms of different capacity building opportunities. So I even recently visited NFRA a couple of weeks ago. So I think government is doing, what their best. Really try to have enough food so that the emergency hits, they can support the vulnerable population. So, and WFP is here to support, those implementation gap or bottleneck. That's what we can do.
Dr. Rim, Malawians are hungry, about 2.6 million, we have discussed, and more could also fall into the trap of hunger. But again, you have also mentioned that more and more people are coming to Zodiak. 400,000?
400 people.
400 people. Are we looking at a day or a month? A month.
400 people.
So 400 a month, 150,000 are also
150 people. New births.
New births.
New baby.
Now, obviously, this is giving me an impression that there is a demand there. And a local Malawian also is in demand, ultra poor, and of course, expecting to be fed or to be assisted by organizations like the WFP. How are you striking the balance between the needs of a Malawian and, of course, those that are also in Zodiak? And yet, more people are coming here.
UN has a humanitarian principle, neutrality, impartiality. So when there is humanitarian need, regardless of where they are from, their nationality, race, color, we provide the same support. So that's our principle. So regardless whether they are refugees, they are poor Malawian, we are supporting equal.
But you're also downsizing your support to Zodiak. I'm assuming you're also working with the UNHCR. How are you working with government to ensure that this balance is, of course, meeting those principles you have mentioned?
So while the resources is dwindling, so we are working very hard to, get support from Parliament for Refugee Act. Because the refugees have no land, have no means for any economic activities. So they have no choice but to rely on the humanitarian assistance. So in order to give them, some sustainability, it is important that they are allowed to have some economic activities. That's a really key issue of Refugee Act. And then also International Financial Institute, they are willing to provide additional resources to support those population.
Is it your belief, though, that if these refugees are allowed some economic activities in or around Zodiak, they could essentially then feed themselves?
Yeah, if Uganda has a very good example. They have a very open refugee policies, and the refugees are feeding themselves. So we hope that, and that has been pending, and that has been discussed in Malawi, and the draft is ready. So hopefully the law is passed so that they get extra support and really feed themselves instead of relying on external aid forever.
It's getting closer and closer. If we say government officials are in the room right now and you would want to offer some sort of advice, what kind of technical advice have you offered or are you offering to them right now as they are watching?
We are working very closely with the government. I have a meeting with the minister regularly, and also my team is working with the technical people. So we really support the different type of capacity building and also system with a dashboard. Those things that we are working. So that has been continuing. And that's one of the very key priorities to build the capacity of a government.
If in 5 years ago, your funding was 100%, what are we looking at in terms of percentage with the current resources that you're having?
You never know. You don't even know tomorrow. How can we? But all I can say is we do our best. We do our utmost best because we know is coming. We know the situation on the ground. I allocate my time. Every month, 1 week, I'll be in the field. I go to the field, I talk to the beneficiary, so I understand their situation very, very well. So I understand their pain. So all we can do is really work hard to mobilize the resources and allocate, into the hands of the most vulnerable people. That's all we can do. And also build the resilience, zero hunger villages. I really want them to stand on their own feet. So more people no longer need assistance from WFP and stand on their own feet. And I know it is possible from my own experience.
Is it possible to achieve that in Malawi?
Yes, ending hunger is possible. I saw it in many places. So why not Malawi? It's possible.
What are we not doing right? What are we not doing right?
No, you've been doing, but also there is an external factor, the resource constraints and also the natural disaster. But showing good example is very, very important, because success is contagious. One village, it's very successful. I saw that one family had 5 times more productivity compared to last year. The neighbors envy. Neighbors are they also want to participate and they also want to be like that. That success is contagious. So one family become one community become one region eventually become a country. Why not?
All right, and finally, over 500,000 people, especially students in primary schools, come September will not be eating anything at school because you're constrained in terms of funding. Should there be more funds available to WFP in the short and long term? Are we going to see you coming back to assist these vulnerable children in primary schools?
That's what we want. That's what we really want. And school feeding is very cost efficient. Feeding a child for 1 year is $20.
$20.
$20. If you go to a very nice restaurant, it's one lunch. But then it can actually feed a child for the entire year. So we really hope that government, donor community really help, because a country like Malawi need healthy, well-educated human capital. That's the key for the development for this country. So investment in children's education is very, very important. We really hope more resources are coming. And also we saw good example in the north, they have a sustainability. So that good example can spread so that all children in Malawi have school feeding and they have access to education.
All right. Dr. Hyoung-Joon Lim, that's how you're pronouncing your name.
Very good.
Any last words before we end our discussion?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate your time and this interview. And I really hope that, ending hunger in Malawi happens in the near future. And we will work to our best to make it happen.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. That's Dr. Hyoung-Joon Lim. He is the WFP country representative and, of course, director for Malawi. Ending our exclusive interview here on Zodiac. Until that time, my name is Alex Banda. I must say goodbye. Continue watching Zodiac.